I think I'm gonna have to repetition this because I mean, last week I took Maurizio. You're gonna fucking laugh. I put 8 SOL in a wallet at the start of the week, and I 26x'd the account this
Holy
week.
shit, man.
I mean,
Unbelievable, man.
I mean, you just can't do that with any other type of trading, right?
No,
Definitely you can, man.
ridiculous. I got
Yeah.
4% on stocks last year. Oh,
I mean, uh, I shouldn't be doing it. Like, this is not a productive use of my time. I've got a business to run. I run 8 figures of my own capital. We've got 8 figures of client capital. Here I am trading fucking nigger butt token and buying fucking. It's like smoking. It's like smoking crack in a short time room with.
But it's fun. It's fun. I took some of them. Obviously I'm sort of getting involved into the meme space, like fully. It's fun though, right? Like it is freaking crazy, man.
I
Like,
had a huge fun time doing it, but it only works when Sol's going up. Only works
Yep.
when the meme coin meta narrative is on. Like, if you tried to do this while the market was going down, you'd hate yourself.
yep.
Nero was a wild show. Nick Jones yesterday, that was a scam and a half they pulled. Fuck
Yep.
in hell. Look, we just got to be very clear about, you've got to use a bot. You've got to take exits on the way up. You can't wait for a when's my exit alert timing, because it's going to pump, and it might only be pumped for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It might only be pumped for 1 hour. You just can't bet that you're going to be in front of the screen watching it, paying attention, and in the right frame of mind. Like, as soon as I own 10x's, I start thinking about 100x's, right?
Definitely.
So at 10x's, I just got to be saying, well, fuck, keep a little bit. Like, get me out. I had a good day at the races. Like, morning, Joyce.
And I think the way this coming, like obviously when if you start learning how to actually proper execute, which is basically the whole aspect of this, how you place it, and how you actually take your profits, especially with this, is going to be a bunch of other changes coming up in the bull run, like base, ton, which basically the same narrative will replicate, man. Like, and if you're prepared for it, you know what I mean? Like, then
if you've got the skills to do the shit on chain, which we're developing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I've learned a lot from Antoine the last couple of days. I've learned a lot from I've learned a lot from Mitch, from I Draw a Line. I've learned more from doing it myself. It's the purest form of player versus player. Like I mean, let me show you what I mean. Before I let you guys jump in.
No, go take your time, man. Like, it's not much.
Okay. So this is Retardio. Why the hell did Retardio go down over the weekend? Like, you would think, great looking chart, great thing, but we had a big candle. It's getting ready to pop though. This thing's going to 1 billion, no doubt. In the world, this is going to 1 billion. If we look at the top 2 traders, we saw 2 guys cash out 665 grand and 401 grand. So these guys cashed out between them $1 million, and look, most of it all happened here. And then the second guy bought here, goodbye, bought the breakout, and scaled out on the way up. I mean, he is like selling. He's selling. So yeah, so that's the point that I want to make, is that, like, technical analysis for these small coins, it really comes down to, there's one guy who decides, I'm going to cash in my back. It's like literally one guy decides, the chart goes down.
Exactly.
Yeah, Todd, I really enjoyed that video with Mitch. Ian, Maurizio, who wants to go first? Certainly
Go
not me.
for it, Ian.
all right, cool. Let's stick with memes for a moment. in the welcome post in the 100x club, there is information on memes going all the way through from how do I find a contract address so that I know I've got the right coin. What is a DEX screener trade is in there as well. There's also a video on taking profits. So I think it's worth, just for anybody that's out there thinking, I'm going to go get my credit cards and I'm going to have me one of those 26Xs this week, right? There's a reason Scott.
Well, you probably fucking will, right? like but there's a catch. For a start, you're not going to be able to put 10 grand on it. Some of these things, the ones that go 20x, you'd probably be lucky to get $500 or $600, maybe $1,000 on them before you start moving the market yourself. You've got to take profits automatically. They might only pump for a couple of hours, so you've got to have your limit exits to get you out automatically. You can't just be hoping that you'll be sitting in front of the screen in the right frame of mind when the thing pumps, because when it pumps, it's gonna go to 20x, and you're gonna start thinking about 100x. It always happens. You're not gonna bank it.
It does, but on the other side of things, like I've been buying more Retardio today, and Retardio is something I don't need to be sat in front of the screen doing this. I'm going to make a bucket load of money on it.
Retardio's a 10x from here, easy, at least a 10x. Look, I'm taking first profits at 10x from here, which for me will be 2 million US.
So there's memes for everybody. Right, let's
how do you pronounce it, by the way? Is it memes?
I kind of went with the crowd, what I'd heard somebody else say.
Memes, thank you, Jason.
Memes.
But you could do it kind of in the middle. Memes.
All right, sorry, keep going. Sorry for interrupting.
Okay then. So Maurizio, I'm just going to have a look at Bitcoin on the daily chart, and then I'll hand it over to you. So this is the chart with the same amount of lines that we've looked at before, but look at this. Look at that absolute straight shot up that we've had since we found the bottom. We came to the bottom of the range here, and we just blasted straight off again. Really shallow pullback gets us up to the mid-range. Let's just zone in here a little bit. I say gets us up to the mid-range, okay? If we look back at what we've done since we've been in this range, we've either been in the top half of the range moving sideways, or we've been in the bottom half of the range moving sideways. And it looks to me, based on this, that we've now retested the mid-range. We broke through, we retested it here. I mean, we had something of a little pullback, but then we were off again. So now it looks like we're heading to the top of the range. What's happened in the past, it doesn't mean that it will happen in the future at all. But just in the confines of this range, we're looking at what has happened.
So would you mind digging into exactly why that would make any fucking difference at all? Like why these old things that happened before actually influence future prices, right?
Well, I would say because people, I think like the turkey story, that the turkey thinks it's okay 364 days a year and then it's in the pan. So you look at this.
It's something more fundamental to that. To every single person who owns Bitcoin is worth one of two numbers. Those two numbers are the price I paid for it or the highest price it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the two real, the price that I paid for it. Who in the chat, if you've ever experienced the feeling of, I can't sell that, it's showing me a loss. I can't sell it at a loss. I have to wait till I get my money back. Has anyone ever experienced that feeling? Like logically, what is best for your portfolio is to have your money in the things that are making the most money for you. You should be selling losers and buying winners. But everyone wants to do the opposite. Like fuck, I bought this thing for $1, it's 50 cents. Like, I can't sell it yet. Like, I'll take a bath on it. And I'm there with fucking couple of coins. You know, that's the disadvantage of spot bags. So this is suboptimal thinking. So anytime you see suboptimal thinking, there's an advantage to be had from it. So we've got people who will probably sell out when we get to that series of dots that you've circled. We've probably got selling pressure there. Those guys will promptly change their tune if we go up a bit further. Because imagine you're a guy who bought Bitcoin for $74,000, dropped to $54,000. It got back to 74. You're like, well, fuck that for a game of Skittles. I don't want to fucking play this shit game anymore. I'm out. Bitcoin promptly goes to 85. You went from feeling like the smartest guy in the world, fuck, got my money back, that was hard, to fuck, I wish I still owned that fucking Bitcoin. God, I was a cunt for fucking selling that fucking thing. Fuck. And then you watch it and it goes to 90, it goes to 95, and you're like, fuck, it's going to fall. You become a hater. And it never fucking falls. It goes to 100, it goes to 120. You're like, fuck, I owned it when it was fucking 54. Fuck. And then finally, you give in and you buy, and that's the top. Anyone ever experienced that? You know?
And that's the whole psychology, right? But if you think about it from that perspective, like obviously I was looking Perry, say imagine you guy whose wife knows that he bought at 34. That's all well and good. But it's kind of the same aspect when Bitcoin was all-time highs, when it was like probably at 13,000 or something like that, and actually dropped, and it had the same feeling, right? So it's not about the number, about 74, or it's about what it was before. Have a look at, imagine when you actually bought at 20,000 and it went back to 8,000. Same aspect of it, you know what I mean? So it's so interesting, right? Like the way that it behaves, because at the end of the day, yeah, 74 is all-time highs, but if you look back, right, back in history, you all had all-time highs like at 26, or in 2021 when we bought at 60 something, same deal. Now we are at 68 or 74. Can that go higher? I still believe it will. Long term.
I personally think that everybody in the chat should have their hand up to feeling like that, or wanting to feel like that, because I tell you what, the other side of it, I'm a damn sight better at crypto than before it, where I was just where everything that Scott did, I just come into crypto, I know nothing. I mean, that's how I was when I started crypto. I knew nothing, didn't even know what an exchange was. Just caught up in this. What is happening? What's this? Look, there's a monkey. There's a card with a monkey on that you can sell.
ADA NFTs back then, like ADA NFTs back then.
Come on.
You're lucky you already had a wife, dude. Like, cause there's no pussy getting from ADA NFTs. Like, that is a zero pussy getting strategy.
Yeah. But,
and it's a chicken and egg thing too. Is it like, are ADA NFTs what happens when no pussy? Is that what no pussy does to a motherfucker? Or did I buy the NFTs and did the pussy dry up? Like
it's yeah. So now I'm in trader recovery. No, but on a serious note, going through that, coming first through crypto, I don't know, that was just kind of part of it for me, to getting to know what the jungle was. And I am a better trader, a better crypto degenerate for it. But with that said, let's return to the Bitcoin and build on what Scott was saying. So let's think about some of these percentages and probabilities, right? So I'm thinking now 90% that we have retested and reclaimed the mid
100%.
The range, back.
And why would you sell right now when you know that it's extremely high probability of going at least to where one of those circles are? If you're planning on taking profits, you're probably just going to hold off. Like why would I take profits today when I'm almost certain that the thing's going up?
And these things go up because they, create this self-sustained pressure of people on the sideline that feel like they're missing out. So as the price of Bitcoin creeps up, that's when I looked at that. I sold some Retardio and then it was going up and up and up. And I was thinking, shit, I should buy some, but I didn't in the end. I waited until it come back down. But that feeling is true. No matter who you are, shit, I've missed the boat here. this is getting away from me. But returning to this, and I'll keep this really basic because this is something that I want to aim at the people in the group that are like, Ian, I'm barely following you. Okay. If we look at the lines, they just kind of tell us where we support something, and then the top is the resistance. And what we look for is a reaction when one of those candles hits the lines. So the next reaction I'm looking for is going to be on this line here. So we've circled it when it's happened historically, not to take evidence from it. And to hand over to Maurizio, everything's heading towards the top of the range. And then for us to actually blast off, well, we need to, not only do we need to get past it, but we possibly need to retest it and then go. So there's a lot that can happen.
Okay, so summarize. When we're getting some evidence that it's not impossible that we just blast through all that shit, right? That we just get one day of selling pressure and just blast through. What would you say I want to get you guys used to thinking in terms of percentages. I want you to get you away from this is going to happen and into there's probably an X% chance of this happening. So what do you think is the chance of it reaching those little dot circles in the next 2 weeks?
Well, I think there's 100% chance that we reach the top there within the 2 weeks.
There's never 100% chance of anything, my brother.
Okay.
Go in, man. Sell your
That's
house.
just your pride fucking with you there, son.
Sell your dog, sell your cat, everything, man, and go all in 100%, man. Like go all in,
no,
man.
if they because and we can intuit why that is true, because if Bitcoin really was worth higher than it is today, then why the fuck wouldn't everyone with $1 billion buy it today and push it there today? You know, why hasn't it already happened if that's true? So what we've got is a probability weighted outcome. So you think it's a very high percentage, maybe an 80% chance of getting there in the next 2 weeks?
Yes.
What about in the next week? It's a more difficult question, isn't it?
That really is a more difficult question. Yes. If we go back to here,
Just a percentage, dude. This is a number. This isn't a bullshit story. Like, give me a fucking number, son. Money talks, bullshit runs a marathon. What number?
the thing is, I don't know a number. That's the bottom line.
Okay, so this is perfect. Trading is making decisions under uncertainty. The way that we make better decisions is to be clearer about what we think are the probabilities of it going up and it going down. So you think there's an 80% probability of it reaching the blue dots in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What do you reckon is it's obviously a lower probability than that of doing it this week, but not impossible. Would you say 50? Would you say 60? Would you say 40? Where are you at on that?
I'd say 40.
So 40. Maurizio?
I will say 40 with a lot of volatility, and the reason why is, I'll go.
It's just a number. We don't need a reason.
Yeah,
so,
40. Yeah.
For me, I reckon we're a bit over 50. I reckon we're 55. I think the volatility is low. If we get a pickup in volatility, we could easily get there. Kevin 60, Ken's 20, Eric's 35, Cameron 60. So we've got a range of outcomes. Okay, so now, Ian, what do you think is the probability of it blasting with only 1 or 2 days faffing around straight up through that resistance and just blasting off and never looking back?
15%.
Maurizio?
If it happens, because I'm biased towards the election, right? So if it happens prior to the election, the election, if Trump is like a pretty high possibility, probably I'll go about another 40% as well.
You're 40%. It's gonna never give us another entry.
Probably, yes.
I think we've got probably a 20-25% chance of a straight, banana zone vertical rocket ship But none of us really know. So what we've got is,
Exactly.
we've got three experts. We're all making decisions under uncertainty. This is what trading is. Now, if ever you get to the situation where you think you really know, the trick with this is, as soon as your percentages start getting above 80, as soon as you think that I'm certain this is going to happen and that's going to happen, you're already thinking like a fucking retard. You need to wash your brain out with soap. So this is the catch. Our probabilities of what we know in markets should most of the time be 60-40s and 55-45s and 20% low probabilities and 15 to 25% outlier outcomes and things like that. As soon as we start talking in terms of slam dunk, this is definitely going to happen on this date. This is a key red flag for me. On this date, this is going to happen, and then it's going to do this, and then it's going to do that. As soon as I start with any of that shit, I already know I'm thinking like a fuckhead. Right, like I am. As soon as that bullshit comes out of my mouth, I've learned to recognize and go, "Oh wow, Scott, you're fucking particularly stupid today, aren't you?" And that's kind of the thing that I want to get across to you. Sorry for interrupting, guys.
No, that was great, man, and I must incorporate that more and more and more into the trading. It's like I used to have indicators up on the screen, but I've gotten rid of them, and this is what I want everybody to see, that anybody that's interested in this, just a little bit of constant application and a couple of people to give you some guidance, and you can understand enough. And with that said, I'll bring in the big guns.
All right, I have a few interesting things to talk about, because did you guys watch the Trump talk of Bitcoin, of the Bitcoin meeting over the weekend?
Yeah,
I saw the highlights. I didn't see the talk.
All right, it's quite interesting because this guy is so bullish on crypto, and he's pumping Bitcoin, essentially saying that United States is going to be the next leader in technology, AI, and Bitcoin, right? So
yeah, he'd say fucking anything to get elected, dude. He ain't going to come to a Bitcoin conference and say I'm shutting down Bitcoin. Like
the interesting thing is the reaction of people, right? And the reaction of how volatile or how bullish, he in terms of his marketing stuff. So with that note, I think there is a huge hype around that talk and a lot of strength on Bitcoin. Now that's going to be, in my view, is going to be a lot of it's going to be a lot of fuckery until the election happen, right? Because if the guy gets elected, I think Bitcoin is gonna rise. If it doesn't, then it's gonna be very volatile in terms of
let's dig into that a little bit. Markets like certainty.
Mm-hmm.
What they don't like is uncertainty. Even if there's only a 10% chance that Gary Gensler is still going to be boss of the SEC, Bitcoin is definitely worth less.
Mm-hmm.
There's even a 10% chance that motherfucker's going to shut our whole shit down.
Yep. You see one bit on the crypto of what Trump said, and one of the things he says is if he gets elected, the first day he's gonna fire Gary Gensler, and people went nuts, man. Like fucking went nuts. So imagine if that happens, what it's going to do with the behavior of the markets. I think Bitcoin is going to shoot up, like ETFs, all the stuff is gonna sort of give a lot of confidence. But if it doesn't, I think that's where the volatility will come, right? Like, so that's the uncertainty around it until election happens, right? So it's interesting. And if you analyze what happens over the weekend, like, let me just show you. It was volatile as if you're looking at the 15-minute chart, look at this wiggliness around everything was going on over the weekend, and then you have on top of that the Israel bombing and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to get a little bit crazy, in my view. But long term, Bitcoin is still very bullish in my books. Like very. Yeah. And if we let's go and have a look at the monthly, because monthly is going to finish in
Have
about
you
2
seen-
days, right?
You seen the monthly on Ethereum? Holy fuck! And
Yeah, I know.
Solana,
So-
Ethereum and Solana are looking just
So,
nuts.
so from
Okay.
the monthly perspective, which is hasn't finished yet, guys, by the way. So this could shift tomorrow. And if we have a dump, then obviously the candle will not finish as strong as what we're seeing today. But this is the monthly chart on Bitcoin, right? And if like it's really, really bullish, right? You can actually see how well respected all these levels are. In terms of you get a lot of buys around these levels. Is bullish as, right? And it's just a matter of fact, a matter of time when this thing breaks and goes into price discovery. To how long, to what price this thing is gonna go, who knows? Could be straight through 100,000, or who knows, right? And especially with all the hype around alts, but alt season, all that sort of stuff. And then if you add the election thing, and if you add Trump into the mix, I think that could give us a real, like if everything aligns, it could be a really good bull run, like a really huge bull run from that perspective.
It could, man. Hey, Maurizio, do you mind going to the 3 monthly on Bitcoin and just have a look how crazy bullish this is on the
Jesus.
Wow, right.
No, that can't be right.
no, what's happening there with that? There we go.
Yeah, I had a line right there. So,
Yeah, you know, look at those candles all closing above that previous high for the
yep.
last 6 months, man. Like,
Yeah, it is bullish as and definitely Ethereum is following behind a little bit. So let me just show you this. Let's go through. Let's go. Ethereum is following. Let me just remove this one. There you go. So it makes it much better. So definitely Bitcoin is getting all the strength, right? And the fact that everything that's going around Bitcoin at the moment, including the ETF, all these talks about like the narrative, freaking Trump giving like so much bullishness. You have a look and see that even I don't like Trump and I don't like the stuff that he's saying, you can't help to feel encouraged by freaking hearing him talk about Bitcoin. Like he knows his marketing shit, man, and is you know, it is what the reactions the market is going to expect, right?
And some of us have become single issue voters all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have all these
You're not
massive
standing on your principles anymore, are you, son? You're voting for whoever's going to pump your bags.
So
As
it is
non-voting
so
Australian.
this guy's so smart, man, in terms of you know his marketing stuff, because he went to every single point that Bitcoin is all about, right? Sovereign, like having your own sovereign. I can't even pronounce that word. Having your own sort of money, like the government control, all that sort of stuff, and he's turning against the current government. So every single little tick that the Bitcoin is out looking for, they get him. It is, you know what I mean? Like, so go and watch it because it's so interesting, so interesting. So from that perspective, I think that could boost it a little bit if this guy gets elected. If not, it's going to be interesting. So I think it's going to be a lot of volatility. And you know, in terms of politics, you know, like one day one guy is winning, one day the other guy is winning, one day, you know, and then there's going to be a reaction on the markets until we get the election day. So that could be the catalyst for this thing. Can that break sooner? I think it can. You know, people that getting very, very bullish on Bitcoin, they can just start getting ahead of the run of the election, and I think that could give us the. That's why I say 40%. Because
still on 3 monthly, by the way, Maurizio.
let me just let me bring it. Let me bring it back to the weekly, and then we'll talk about that. So from the weekly, this thing on the weekly looks really, really good, man. Like really, really good. So it opened just very bullish today. Like just now, it just went up a little bit, like 1% so
That's
far.
a banger.
Exactly. So I think from you know, from the high perspective, if people get ahead of the curve in terms of the election, thinking that Trump is going to win, and then then we could break it up. And if he wins,
I gotta correct you here about all of this macro thinking. Anytime you start saying the Fed's going to do this, the election's going to do that.
You're right. Yeah.
The only things we can make money from are mispricings in the market or momentum in the market. For a market to be mispriced, we have to know something that other people don't know. Like the list of secret fucking things is not that there's an election in November and Trump's looking a bit better than he did a month ago. Like those things are not secrets. There's probably no money to be made off knowing those things.
Yeah, definitely. But that's why I say, in terms of probabilities, there is a probability that people will start getting into the boat early.
I think people will front run it.
Exactly
when it looks good, smart people are going to try and front run.
That's basically what I'm. Yeah, and then if everything falls into place, then we might never see this level again. If you know what I mean, that could be a possibility, right?
I think we're definitely not going to see 52 again this cycle. I think that's something. I think that's something that I'm starting to think. If we saw 52,000 again, we'd have to start questioning whether or not we're in a bull market.
I agree. And this level now seems to be the new holding level, like around 60, like technically 60 is sort of the bottom line for Bitcoin at the moment. So, but everything is looking pretty good. Like, if you look at Ethereum, in terms of the majors, right? I have this one right here, which compares Solana, Ethereum, the Total 3, and AVAX, like all the major chains, and Bitcoin. So we got Bitcoin, the blue one, right on top. So Solana is actually right there with Bitcoin. Total 3 is actually following. Pretty much.
Can you put that from the lows, please, so we can see what happened from the actual market lows?
So from the lows,
probably
right there.
So now it's pretty fucking clear. It's Solana. Like, why the fuck do you think we're doing these dumb fucking Solana plays, right?
Exactly right. Yep, exactly right.
So people are like, well, how'd you make 40 fucking grand starting with $1,000 off meme coins last week? Well, you wait until Solana's winning, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
It's not because I'm so good or we're so good. You just wait until Solana's winning.
And you can clearly see now that Solana is the leader, right?
Can you throw ton and near on there as well, just for I think it was Perry who asked to do that. This is very interesting, Maurizio.
Yeah, I'm comparing this because I was on this interesting. I was like, because I was chasing the meme stuff, like, because we were going, by the way, in the course that we're doing on Wednesdays, like we're doing memes, we were doing memes, and I was doing the beta analysis on AVAX and all the stuff, and AVAX looked pretty good. Like, this is AVAX right here. This
AVAX looks okay. Yeah,
it looked, but now is the lowest of all of them. So it had a huge drop, but it's quite interesting the way it dropped. But yeah, so that's where I'm sort of following around, because I think when Ton, like, this is a pretty good one, Ton. And which other one we want in here? Nia?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm watching Ton closely, by the way, because I think that might be.
I think Ton might be an ecosystem that has that if it reaches new highs, the ecosystem might have a big moment in the sun.
I reckon, and then it's going to be a bunch of meme stuff, like all the stuff that happened with Solana at the moment might replicate on Ton. And then if you guys are prepared to actually, if you already know how to execute on Solana, more than likely you will take some advantage on Ton. And if the bull market comes along, I think that will be a really excellent play to be aware of. So yeah, that could be a really good one.
And so for this week, we should be biased towards Solana, right? Because Solana's in the lead.
I agree.
The race isn't always to the swift, the battle's not always to the strong, but that's damn sure the way to bet.
Yep.
So, so when you see a chart like this and you're starting the week and going, okay, I want to make some money. And I think this is an important point for you as home traders. You're not working in a job. You don't have a mandate. So if you're in a job, your job might be you're going to trade SPY options or some shit like that. That's all you're allowed to do. Here you can trade anything or you can trade nothing. If you took a look at the market and go, wow, this looks like ass, take the week off. But it doesn't look like us. It looks like happy days in the sunshine, particularly in the Solana ecosystem. So that's the first thing you want to do is like, oh shit, I'm bleeding. The next thing you want to do is say, okay, what am I planning on doing here? I'm having a long only bias. I've got a sol bias. How much risk do I want to take? You know, do I want to take a lot of risk? If I want to take a lot of risk, then I'm going like a super amount of risk is meme coins. If I want to take a medium amount of risk, it's things that have high beta to sol. So for example, Jupe is the coin that's the biggest DEX on Solana. If you loaded up Jupe onto that chart, onto that squiggle chart that you just had, what you're damn sure going to see is it outperforming them both. Watch this.
Yep.
And that's not because Jupe is a better coin. That's because Jupe is sol and steroids.
Exactly.
That's cool, right? Okay, so now we know. Now, if you added, you know, average meme coins on, they would look they would look even more bit higher up, higher highs and lower lows, right?
So we have Wave, which is on Solana, and we have Bonk, which is in Solana as well.
So those are.
So this is Wave.
Yeah. So we've got brutalized.
Yeah, I did.
I think we can take Whiff out of the game for the time being. I don't think that's an attractive play. Why is it not an attractive play? Because it's underperforming Solana, and it's riskier than Solana. So if we're gonna take 5 times the risk that we're taking with Solana, we would want ideally to have a much higher reward. I'm certainly not going to take a riskier coin and get paid less money. That's a shit go. That's not something that an intelligent trader would do. I might take Jupe. I might say, wow, Solana looks pretty red hot here.
Definitely. And we were in Jupe. I was going to add into our positions on Jupe. So in terms of our position, let's see where Jupe is at, because that was my, yeah, we're very much so to break even. So
someone's raising their hand here. Ian, do you want to just mic them up or?
Yeah, you just need to unmute your end, Michael.
Hey, Michael.
You'll need to kick the button that looks like a microphone your end.
Bottom left. Bottom left.
Yeah. There we go. No, you've clicked it again, Michael, and remuted. Give it another kick. Okay, maybe we carry on, and when Michael's ready.
Sure. So yeah, definitely Jupe was my favorite. Still looking on Bonk in terms of meme from this sector, but still, I think layer 1s and layer 2s, I think are the ones that are leading. And if we have a look at Velo data on what the best performance on the last week, we definitely take about layer 1s. So Mike is looking good, man. Like, I really like the way he's heading.
What's the CVD looking like? Can you just scroll down a bit?
Yep, sure.
So where are we? We're seeing some big CVD No, there's the one that's the one that's turned up. So CVD is more about direction than about absolute movements. There's one of those curves that just curved up from the bottom. What is that? Is it dupe? No,
This one?
no. Well, no,
Sats.
no. I'll find it. I'll find it.
Yep.
This is validata.app, right?
This one. VNX?
No. The grey one that sort of starts at the bottom and starts curving up. And
Right, got it. This one.
that one. What's it?
STMX. Yeah, I was looking at that one.
Ooh.
STMX.
That looks kind of. That's a very strong signal, dude.
Yep. That was on my plan today to have a look on this one because, yep, I noticed that one as well.
Too much volatility in it. You can't buy it now. It's already. But that looks strong. Actually, that looks like it's gonna bang. It really does.
I agree. That was sort of on my list to add some to get a position on it. And in terms of the weekly, it looks very well supported. And this one has especially this one that is an XI. This is all crypto. When everything works okay, this actually recovers quite quickly. Like SNX has a factor of recovering quite quickly. So yeah, this one is on my tracking list for today, for this week. So yeah,
So what do you like? What do you like this week, Maurizio?
So what I like, let me show you what I like. Okay, so yesterday, last week, I like Arkham. So in terms of Arkham, in terms of project wise of long-term hold, I think this will be wanted to buy this one for a while. I like Maker as well. So Maker now is going into a rebrand. It is that really good looking chart, man. Like in terms of the drop, it hardly dropped and it's sustained right there. So Maker, I really like. There is this sort of narrative right now in terms of all this stuff that it had a good performance at the beginning of the year. Things like Pyth. So Pyth was a very attractive play for some of them, and now it's getting a little bit of recovery. So I'm following this one up as well. Tia as well. So Tia, it was the love one for a while. Now but I think this will be a very attractive buy right here in terms of what they do in terms of the ecosystem. So those are the ones that I'm tracking, and I'm also tracking the BRC20 narrative as well. And the majors will be Ordi. So Ordi, this is all the stuff that pumped in the past, or like, and it still sort of did have a good retracement down, but in the next leg up, I think it could be pretty solid. And the biggest in terms of BRC20 is Sats, Rats, and Ordi. But I'll go with Ordi. That's my favorite. That's the basis stuff for the ordinals on Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin keeps continuing up, Ordi is going to appreciate in value much more, because it's sort of the ecosystem of all these BRC20 things. So especially all the ordinals and things. I don't know if you follow that stuff. So yeah, those are my favorites for this week. I'll keep track on those ones. But yeah, everything is looking pretty okay in my view. This is bottoming out, so I like it. I like it so far.
Okay, so for me, I think the easy play is the Sol ecosystem this week. I mean, I've got my chilling in spot bags. Let me
Sure.
Let me share my screen. I fucking hate this coin, but it's undeniably starting to get a bit of love. You can see my screen?
Yep.
XRP. God, what a shit.
XRP. You an XRP, mate.
But I mean, look, yeah.
I know.
Okay. So for me this week, Solana is clearly the strongest thing.
Yeah.
It's clearly gonna bang. It's clearly a risk reward place to put on Solana bets. The things that I really like, this one here, Sigma. I think at a market cap of 20 million, I think we could, I think, take profits of 40 million. It's looking reasonably spread out. There's big people behind it. I kind of like this one, the horrifically named Niggerbot. Show me that Niggerbot. We briefly had 2 or 3x on it, and it's back. But I think this one's going to bang this week. What else am I watching? I think it's an amazing entry point for Retardio. I think this one is a safer play than many of the other memes that we're doing. And it's going to sound dumb. It's going to sound really dumb, but on the off chance that Israel and Iran end up in a war, I bought a few SOL worth of Jewish themed meme coins, just in case there's a war involving Israel this week, just in case. I couldn't get much on there, like 12K market cap coins, right? Like they're like, so me, that's this week. Let me show you what FINREV thinks, which is usually much smarter than me. So this is our portfolio sorted in notional value. And we've got long TRX, long Bitcoin, long BNB, long SOL. We're short Gala, short TRB, short Clay, whatever the fuck that is. We're long XRP, fuck you XRP. We're short BLZ. We're long Jasmy, and we're long Storage and short Chili's. That's a pretty reasonable portfolio. The rest, we're mostly short. You can see we're mostly short in the small ones and mostly long in the big ones. It's a reasonable sort of portfolio. This is probably better than I'm going to do, probably going to do much better than me in my spot portfolio here this week, I think. I'm half Jewish, Perry, so I don't really like I don't really like all that racist stuff, and I'm kind of a lefty anyway, and I'm deeply embarrassed that I own this. And I'm not recommending this. But I'm certainly not recommending it yet. But I bought some of this at 10K market cap, 427 holders. It's pretty well spread out. I think one of those is me somewhere around here. Will Solana jump this week? I think Solana will jump this week. I think it's got a lead, and if Bitcoin goes up, I think Solana will probably continue to go up faster. That's certainly the way to bet. Good question, Dale. You can view DEX tokens in TradingView now, but I did not know that, Jason. You can get some of them.
Yeah, not all of them.
What sort of service doesn't have live data for Nigabot token? Is there anything else I really like? I think just keep it simple this week. Solana ecosystem.
I agree.
Solana ecosystem. I've got a leverage trade on it. Sorry.
Yeah, INA is still working great. I still have my leverage trade on INA working good. Yep.
We put it on here, right?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Actually, we put it on this day here.
Yep.
And still in profit.
Yep.
I think it looks pretty good. If the market's found a bottom here, I think it's one that you can hold all the way back up. Perry, I want to show you something about Retardio. So you can't really do technical analysis as such, like you normally would say, like channels and this and that. What we've got here is literally, if we go to two guys and we go, this guy bought $5 grand worth and he cashed it out. over the last 2 weeks for 671 grand. Let's take a look by clicking on the transactions at where he did that. You can see that he banked half here and he banked the other half here, and how much does he hold left? So let's look on the Explorer and see how much he actually holds. He's still got 8 million. He's still got $1 million worth of Retadio. So you can see exactly what happened, right? He got to his number and he cashed out half. That's what he did. So you can't really. Now let's do it with this second guy. You can see he bought here and he cashed out. So all this selling is a result of two guys cashed out $1 million, which hasn't been done before. So it should have been, in my view, going down a lot faster than that. So this is, yeah, you can't really do technical analysis on these low volume coins because it all comes down to like one guy. Like I've got enough Retadio that I could crash the price of Retadio down to here right now if I full stack Hiblet it. I could absolutely do that. And so what we're depending on is me not being a fuckwit, and every one of these like top holders, I'm about 0.25%, so I'm probably about the 50th biggest holder. It's a Perry P, it's a really good sign that Retadio didn't drop. Now let's look at this guy on the Explorer and let's see what he's holding. And one of the things we can do is click on portfolio, see what else he's holding. So mostly this is where I get my ideas from trades from. I don't go scrolling through memes like a fuckhead. I don't care if the cat's cute or not. I'm not a retard. Okay, like that's a last phase check. I'm not buying it. I'm looking, some guy he's got 310 grand worth of Retadio left. He just cashed out 600 grand. What else he holding? He holding PopCat. He holding whatever the fuck this is. He's holding Mini. Cat with hat, stupid, and all the rest of them are stupid. So, this is something that I'd have a look at as well. That's how I get, that's mostly how I get my trade ideas. People making money.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you still got a couple more days if you want the FinRev deal, and the deal for that is if you bought FinRev in the last couple of weeks, I'm going to put a guarantee that you've got 7 days to onboard, and from that date, I guarantee that you're going to make money in the next month. And if you don't, you're eligible for a full refund. I think it's going to go up. It's a bet that I'm willing to take for the company. Mitch and Hehe. Okay. So if you guys want that, Ian's just going to throw the thing in. Let me just load up Hehe, and then we'll talk about Mitch. So Hehe, you'll see we had some pretty active traders selling. So there's literally one guy there. You can't do TA on these. When this guy stops selling, you can see in the last hour. Look at this is perfect. Let's look at the last hour and look at what this guy was doing. So in the last hour, he's like sold some here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like at 11K a clip, 22K, 11K, 16K. And you can see what happens. He's just crashing the price. When he stops selling, this is going to rebound. Mitch isn't going anywhere, guys. Like just what people are going to see is that between all of us and the people that I brought into it and Antoine, we're owning pretty significant percentages of the supply, and because we're not selling it, people will eventually notice that people are not selling it. It tripled briefly yesterday. We're still way up on our entry, which was like way back. It was way low. It was like, let me show you where let me show you what I'm holding in my, let me stop the share and let me share my Telegram. Okay, so this is probably going to be useful for you guys. This is how you load up this Trojan on Solana bot. The one that I'm using is Hector, and let me share it. Copy link, and I'll put that in the chat right now. So the first thing you do is type // it brings you a bunch of menu items. I'm going to click on positions. This is my positions in, like, I've got like 20 wallets, but this is the one that I buy and sell it in and out and in and out and in and out. So you can see on this wallet that I'm trading, I've got 1.79 SOL. I've got 78 SOL worth of positions. I'm holding Nigabutt. I'm holding Jew. I'm holding Sigma. I'm holding Fat GF, which I'm a bit weird on. Perry, Mitch is definitely a pump scam. This is definitely a pump scam, but we're the ones pulling the scam, if you know what I mean. I got a couple of big influencers ready to shill it once the dust settles. So this is page 2, and I've got Mitch, I've got Game, and that's what I've got. Trojan is super easy. If you want to buy 1 SOL, you just click on buy 1 SOL, and yeah, that's what it is. You can also click on /start and have limit orders. And these are the limit orders I've currently got to sell my stuff. Selling half of the Jew at a 10x and selling Mitch at a 3x from here. So this is what I recommend you do, because it's much easier. You are never gonna, if you look at the way these meme coins pump, you're never gonna be there in front of the screen when it happens. I use the auto sell feature. I should use it more. Can you copy trade my wallet? If you try and copy trade my wallet, I will absolutely fuck with your head, and I will dump on you, and I will make 100% sure you lose money. I will fuck with you so hard. You have no idea the mental torture I will put you through if I find someone start copy trading my wallet, like as in, because what happens is, and let me show you exactly why this is going to piss anyone reasonably off. Okay, so let's look at the Mitch chart here. Now let's put a 1-minute chart up on here. Now I'm going to sell 1 SOL worth of Mitch, and I want you to watch what happens. I'm going to sell Mitch, and I'm going to sell $300 worth of Mitch. Watch what happens. Clicking it now, sending transaction sent. Oh, see that? Right? I dropped the price from there to there. If I see you copy trading me, what do you think that's going to do to me? It's going to make everything that I buy more expensive. It's going to take away every bit of profit that I sell. You'll see me doing up, down, up, down. I'll wiggle, I'll waggle, I'll fuck with you. Do not I'm happy for you. I'm happy to show you guys my wallets, but if you start copy trading me, I'm going to make sure you lose money. And everyone who does meme coins will say the same thing. If you copy traders are the most annoying people. Why? Because they ramp your shit up. Like as soon as they see you buying it, they ramp your shit up, and that cause you have to take greater efforts to hide your wallets. And I'll be using new wallets, and I'll be selling in this. I'll be buying in this wallet while I'm selling in that wallet while you chase me. I'll be doing all kinds of heinous shit to your butthole. I promise it'll hurt. There you go.
Oh, on that just wonderful image, I think we'll call it a day. Brilliant session, everybody. Look forward to seeing you in the group. Super pumped for the next week of the 6-week Safe Leverage Bootcamp, which has just been an absolute riot. Looking forward to that. Game on, everybody. Have a great week.
Have a great week, guys.
See you guys.